How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the opposition preview. We're here for the London derby, of course, tomorrow at the Emirates. Arsenal versus West Ham. And of course, when we play West Ham, there's only one man to get on. We've got Mike's. Big up Mike's, bro. How you doing, man? You all good?
Yeah, man, all good, all good. Good to be back on the channel, man. Good to be back on the channel. Looking forward to this video, man.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, man. It's good to have you back. Obviously, the last time we had you on, obviously, it was a 5-2 game. I don't like to bring it up for your point of view, bro. But a bit has changed, man. Obviously, you got the new manager, Graham Potter, coming in. Finally, Lopetegui got the sack.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk all about that today. But before we do start, make sure you guys subscribe to Mike's. Link is very easy in the title. Go over to there, drop my man a sub. He's on the road to 1K subscribers. But yeah, Mike's obviously big game tomorrow. You always come to the Emirates. Let's start obviously with West Ham's current situation right now. Obviously, we just spoke about about your manager getting sacked, but where you're obviously at right now, looking at West Ham's current situation. I mean, Potter's came in, tried to steady the ship a little bit, but is the damage already done from Lopetegui? Do you think?
Definitely, because obviously some of these players have been here from the previous two managers, so I think some of them are mentally and tactically drained from what they've been going through on the pitch and stuff. And I think with Graham Potter, obviously his style of play is very particular. So he has to kind of install it and have time to install it. But also this is kind of like the rest of the season's pre-season because Lopetegui had a pre-season to install his style of play. We didn't see anything from him. We were 8 months in and we didn't have an identity. One training session from Graham Potter against Aston Villa, even though we lost in the FA Cup, I know what he's trying to do. It was like going back to the expectations at the start of the season was get me top half and a style of play. And that's what Lopetegui failed to do. We were so far down the table and we didn't have an identity. And the damage is kind of already done, to be honest. From like I've wrote this season off a long time ago. But at the same time, with Graham Potter coming in, this is kind of being got his extended preseason. We kind of got to hope for the future almost because we're at a point where we're not really playing for anything. We're not going to get relegated despite the fact that we're 16th because we're 10 points clear. And Ipswich, Leicester, Wolves, Southampton, they're not going to go on a run of games. We've seen that before. Teams around the relegation battle don't really go on a run of games. And if we're in a relegation battle, then Man United are Tottenham are. Like, they're around us. Like, we've got teams around us that are also there. So the damage is already done, to be honest. I think that's why, like, it's very hard to get to hire a manager in mid-season, in the middle of a January transfer window, to prepare. So he's kind of got to find the right balance. And his style of play is very particular. I like what I see, but it's a lot to ask at this current moment in time. So you kind of just got to see it out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones for sure, man. I mean, because if we quickly look on, I want to get your thoughts obviously on the appointment overall of Graham Potter. Because when I looked at it, obviously, we've done shows in the past together where, we're saying week in, week out, how's Lopetegui still in? How has this guy still got a job? This guy, for me, should have got sacked a long time before he, actually did, if that makes sense. Yeah. But obviously, Potter coming in, I look at what he did at Brighton, really impressed me. I look what he did at, I think, was it that Swedish team,
Ostersund, yeah.
Yeah, I think obviously got them. Fun fact, actually beat Arsenal as well, in Europa League, he beat Wenger. So that's where he really introduced himself, and at Brighton he did a really good job with them. And I know at Chelsea didn't really work out for him over there, but now he's at West Ham. What's the whole mood like around the whole West Ham fan base on Graham Potter as an appointment?
Yeah, so for the most part, I think it's united the whole fan base in the sense that, well, most of the fan base, because West Ham fans can never agree on anything, but like for most of the fan base, like it seemed to unite them because there was a lot of especially stuff online. A lot of it is about narratives. So a lot of people were either Moyes versus Lopetegui sort of thing, and it kind of became a bit toxic online as it always does. But Graham Potter was that middleman for everyone to sort of believe in because we could all agree that Lopetegui was good enough in the end. So we got Graham Potter, and I think everyone given the circumstances of what our owners are like. Our owners are basically very much finding the cheap option all the time, and they were going to hire Graham Potter because he's on a free. Like they were going to wait until the Chelsea contract thing stops being paid off because despite getting sacked, obviously that still carries on. And the only options that were good on a free at the time was Conceição, who went to AC Milan in the end, and Maurizio Sarri. So the only ones that were left for me were Sarri and Potter that were those are the three options that I could see us hiring that are actually very good. The other ones weren't inspiring at all. And to be honest with you, a lot of the inspiring options were already in a job. Our owners don't like to pay compensation. So that's why like a Graham Potter one is the best out of what you can pick from, because he's got a particular style of play that it's organized in a defense, but you play through the lines as well. So it's a good balance. It's like you don't need to focus too much on the attack or the defense. He likes to find that balance in between, and a lot of people want to focus on the Chelsea thing, but as you said, like he did well at Brighton as well. Like the Chelsea thing was a certain circumstance. Again, he didn't get his own preseason there, but they were in a big transition. They had a new ownership and everything. Like it was very difficult. A lot of players wanted to leave, so I don't really pin that too much of that on him. He's the kind of manager I like, where he's just balanced. He'll get the best out of what he has, and then when we do give him players, he has a good amount of talent ID from when we can progress forwards on from there. And for me, I think a lot of the camp is like a lot of like there's a small portion of the fan base that's still unhappy because obviously our ownership, like nobody likes our ownership. That's one thing our fan base is quite united upon. So I think because it's a free option, some fans are like, I'm not going to like anyone that comes in, sort of thing, because they're on a free. But the way I look at it is, given the circumstances of our ownership, all the free options are there. He's probably the best one.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I mean, when you look into him coming in, as you rightly said, I think this season's got to be like sort of a write-off now, because you've got nothing to play for, really. I think you're out of obviously the FA Cup by Villa, and then you obviously didn't get European football, did you? So it's like, it's the whole season just pretty much right off. But going forward with Graham Potter, is it this type of thing where he's going to need this massive window coming up in the summer to get his players and then go again for the full season? I mean, what would be like the expectations for him going forward for next season, sort of thing, for West Ham?
Yeah, it's difficult to say because it depends on how many players he gets. Like I'm a person that's always a thing of, like, we moved to the London Stadium to compete for Europe and stuff, and to move to the next level, which was what we were promised. And Moyes got us to that, but he got us to a level that he couldn't carry on because he tried fixing something that wasn't broken in the first place. Which, that's the long story short. And with Graham Potter, as much as we had like a big rebuild in the summer, that was the kind of the minimum, the 10 players in, 10 players out sort of thing, because our squad was so like drained and so old, and like lack of physical abilities, lack of technical ability. Like we needed a complete overhaul. And despite the fact that it's been a bad season, our squad has been heavily upgraded on. It's just they haven't been used correctly. There's a lot more to get out of these players than what people are seeing at this current moment in time. So for the summer, I actually think we need to still go for a certain caliber player that can take us to the next level, because a lot of the like players right now can't play his style of play. Like this isn't his team, but he can get the best out of a Somerville, a Guilherme, hopefully. I'd like to say a Kudus. I just can't remember the time. It hasn't been great. Jared Bowen is perfect for Graham Potter's style of play, because like he scores goals. As simple as that. He scores goals, and Potter teams create chances. Like we've still got a good spine of a team that's actually pretty decent. We just need to build around that spine, and I think we need to buy at least like 3 to 4 starters next year for us to be a competitive team. But it's also on the coach to get the best out of what you have and try and take those players that you already have to the next level. And also helps where he's actually including academy players. We're at this current moment in time where we have a great academy, so it's the perfect time to include them.
Would you say he's the type of managers also give these younger players the opportunity as well?
Yes, so I think that was one of the promises that was in the interview, that for the next manager to do that, because that was meant to be Lopetegui, but he only included Scholes at the end. Ollie Scholes, who's playing for us like right now, like coming off the bench mainly. Really good player, really good young player. Played in the FA Youth Cup final against Shula a couple of years ago. And he's been touted as the next big thing for a while at our academy. I've been saying this guy should be the next left back for us since 2022, to be honest with you. And now he's finally fulfilling that. And Potter's the perfect man for that. He gave a lot of people their debuts at Brighton, whether they came through their academy or whether it is them buying a young player like a Caicedo from Ecuador and stuff like that. He was giving those players debuts, and he's included the likes of Lewis Orford, who's another young midfielder that may not get too many minutes now, but will be good for the future. We've got we've got the perfect academy right now to get them to the first team, and people like Ollie Scholes is a product of that. And right now he is using them properly. He's easing them in properly as well. He's still starting Emerson, but then bringing Ollie Scholes on. I imagine that will be the same thing on the weekend as well. So yeah, we haven't had a manager that's going to start academy players for a while. because unless they really like force themselves through, like a Declan Rice was a few years ago under Slaven Bilic and David Moyes, like all them years ago, and Pellegrini. So it's
Yeah,
very good to see that, and it's quite refreshing, to be honest, because we've always had good academy players, but it's just the coaching.
yeah, 100%. So obviously, I wanted to ask a little bit about going into your squad because when I looked in that window, I thought you guys made some decent, on paper, some decent signings. You look at it, that Somerville you signed it from Leeds. I was really impressed. I've been impressed with him. I think he's injured right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
For the whole season, I'm pretty sure, or like towards the end. But obviously, Falk, you signed, who I thought had a good, decent Euros and a good spell at Dortmund, but it's not really running for you guys there. A few defenders won it. I think it was Tobido. You signed as well, and obviously adding on to like Kudus's and the Bowens. That you signed, but and I think was it Wan-Bissaka as well that you guys bought from United.
Yeah,
and I've been so impressed with him as well with you guys. But when you look into your squad right now, I know it's been a really poor season, and I know you've had managerial changes. It's been a up and down for West Ham, but when you look into your squad right now, I mean, is there been a player that really sort of had a standout season that you could pick out for West Ham?
Yeah, like. There's not been many too good individual performances because of the previous manager, but Wan-Bissaka has been by far the best player at West Ham this season because Bowen's been misused quite a lot, but Bowen still has good. Bowen will probably be second in that. Like breaking down our transfer window just very briefly, like Somerville wasn't used properly by the manager the previous manager, but he wasn't used barely at all, even though he deserved to be. Somerville still needs to work on his final third, but he's still effective. Like, it's not like any of our existing attackers at the current moment in time warranted starting over him. Guilherme is another attacker who's very young, Brazilian. He might start on a weekend, apparently, I'm hearing, but like he, again, wasn't used by the previous manager. Rodriguez is a free midfielder who was meant to be the backup to Edson Alvarez, but the problem is that Edson Alvarez's levels have dropped. So it's kind of a place now where neither of them are good enough because you signed a squad player, even though your starter at the end hasn't performed well enough. Tadebo's got injured on Lopetegui's very last game, so we haven't been able to see him under Potter yet, but he's a very good defender. We literally beat Juventus to him. We hijacked that whole deal because Juventus didn't have the money to pay that off. Max Kilman is good when Mavropanos isn't there because centre-back partnerships are all about like benefiting off each other, as you see it with Arsenal and stuff. Like Kilman's very good without Mavropanos. He's good with Tadebo and stuff like that because they cover for each other really well. Wan-Bissaka's been outstanding. And to be honest with you, he's proved me wrong because I thought we were going to play like attacking fullback sort of thing, the way we were going to approach it. But even his attacking play has been outstanding. He's not really been beat that many times 1v1, as we all know that's what he's good for. 1v1 plays very good in possession, which something he didn't do at Manchester United. But a lot of these players, when they move from a big six club to a lower league club, like they find a new lease of life, and I think he's a product of that, to be 100% honest with you. And I think despite the fact that we're 16th, he's been one of the best right backs this season.
Yeah, 100%. And also, I forgot to mention about January. You guys bought Ferguson, right, on a loan deal. What do you make of him and that type of signing?
I think it was needed that we needed a body up front, and despite the problem is that we're developing a player for another club. We're developing a player for a club that are meant to be a team that we're kind of meant to be competing around. Even in fact, we're meant to be above them. Like if we actually were working properly, we're meant to be above a team. Like, it sounds belittling, but it's the truth because we were in the Premier League before them. We should be competing before them and stuff like that. But they've been outstanding in terms of their recruitment. With Ferguson, for me, we're developing a player for another club that if he does well, we're probably going to get priced out of. Or they'll keep for themselves, or they'll sell to another club that are willing to pay the money. If he does bad for us, okay, cool, 6 months, it is what it is. I'm not expecting too much from him. I just need him to kind of just do his job sort of thing. I'm not expecting him to score 10 goals. I'm not even expecting him to score 5. I'll be real, as West Ham, I'm not expecting any strikers to do anything because we don't do well with strikers. There's a big striker curse at West Ham. But I think it's an okay signing. I just think it would have been nice to have an option to buy just in case he does well, so we could just trigger that and have nothing going forward. Because that's the same mistake we made with Lingard when he was here. Loan move, did well, got priced out. He wanted to go back to United and do well. Then he went on a free to Nottingham Forest because he went for the money. That's kind of the dynamic you put in face with loan players and stuff. When they do well, you get priced out if you don't have the option to buy. I think that's the problem with that. But I'm hoping he just does his job. I'm not going to put too much pressure on him. It's very hard to come in the middle of the season on a loan and then change something at the club.
But yeah, I agree. I feel like looking at outsider point of view with Ferguson, I actually would have taken him at Arsenal because
Mm.
you know where we're at with his situation. Mainly because I mean he's still very young, ain't he? I think he's like 21 years of age, so he's still a
Yeah,
young, promising striker. I actually remember before. I think the injury let him down because before that, I think he had a decent start with Brighton, scored a few goals, and then I remember the game. I think they played Newcastle. He had a hat trick, and I'm sitting there
yeah,
thinking, you know what, this guy looks actually pretty decent. I think then he got injured, and he obviously lost out to like Pedro and Danny Welbeck, and you know now he can't get into the Brighton team. So I
yeah.
think if obviously I know he's got to start right, because you got no Antonio, you got no Paqueta, right? Who played? Didn't he play false nine for you last game or something against Brentford? Paqueta.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he played full start in a couple of games. Yeah,
Yeah, so
Villa and
you've not
Brentford.
got him either, do you? He's injured as well, ain't he? Have I gone? Yeah, have I gone?
Says reconnected.
My
Yeah, hello. You
I'm
hear
back,
me?
bro. I'm back.
Yeah, all right, all right.
I'm back.
But yeah, we ain't got Paquetá up front. Like obviously, he was playing up front against Villa, playing up front against
Yeah,
Brentford, and
yeah,
it's not a position that's foreign to him because he's played full nine against Leon, for Leon, sorry, before. Kudus has played there before. He kind of has to start, but I don't think. I think they're just trying to ease him in because of match sharpness and stuff as well. But I do think it'll be best for us to put a Ferguson there rather than a Bowen because, for example, even though Bowen did well up front against you guys last year when we won at the Emirates, it's a case
yeah,
of, for me, Bowen against the Gabriel and Saliba's a mismatch physically, and it doesn't allow him to get in the positions that he's really capable of. Where if he's attacking like a Lewis Skelly, as good as Lewis Skelly is, as fantastic he's been, if you
yeah.
get Bowen in them kind of positions, if he finds any bit of space, he will shoot, and that's where he's best from. And with Ferguson, there's a bit more of a match physically and height wise as well. So I'd rather it be a Ferguson in the middle and Bowen on the right sort of thing.
Yeah, 100. So obviously, looking into this game coming to the Emirates, as you rightly mentioned, the game last season, you guys done us, man. 2
Yeah,
0 obviously. Our ex-player, bro, Marapapanos, with the header and everything, it had to be him to get the second goal. But you guys actually played so well in that game, I thought. Moyes won it you guys had last
yeah, it
season?
was boys. Yeah,
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 Moyes, the masterclass. I mean, yeah, and it could have been worse. It could have been 3-0 because I think Rice gave away the penalty, didn't he, as well?
yeah, he did. Yeah,
Yeah, so it could have been even worse. So you guys got proper good performance result against, and obviously I know what happened in the reverse fixture. We got the revenge and the 6-0 and all this. But
yeah,
you know, looking into Arsenal's situation, obviously I'm sure you've seen with the attack, bro. I mean, Mika Marino, DM playing up front for us people. You know,
yeah.
when you look into Arsenal's situation with the attack, when you look
Mm.
into obviously you know, you guys sort of have, I don't know, in terms of like that freedom, but obviously you've got not that much to play for, if that makes sense, you know. As
Mm.
you said, you're fine in terms of relegation, you're 10 points clear, right? What's the confidence levels feeling like coming to the Emirates, man? I mean, do you think you could cause Arsenal, obviously, an upset?
No, I don't think so. I haven't predicted West Ham win in a very, very long time. But people know I don't predict West Ham wins ever. But that's the thing with I only think we have a chance against Arsenal if we don't concede early,
Okay.
because like your attack compared to our defense should actually, funny enough, it sounds dumb to say because you're second and we're 16th, but
Yeah.
it should benefit us because if we have a Tadibo, we've got a full back, we got a back four back. We've got Wan-Bissaka, Tadibo, Kilman, and Emerson, and we play like a winger, right wing back or whatever, and that should be fine. If Tadibo is fine coming back on his first game and stuff like that. If we play a Mavropanos, no matter who you guys have up front, I'm confident that they're scoring. If a Marino started up front against Mavropanos, he will score again. He will score again. But that's the thing, like I can only see West Ham getting a result if we don't concede early, which we've been prone to this season, and if we can just stick it like that, because we're not score. I don't think we're going to score in this game. Like I just see the biggest mismatch on the pitch is going to be our attack versus your defense,
Yeah.
because Bowen and Luis Guilherme off the side, and Somerville ain't there. I could have form or
Yeah.
whatever, but that's the biggest mismatch for me. We're relying on Bowen too much to score goals. And it's even if I don't even know if we're going to create the chances that we actually should. But regardless, our defense should like the only way we're going to get something is a draw. We're not winning this game, despite the fact that you guys. I don't know whether you guys have even progressed from last season or regressed. When I watch you guys, you kind of look a bit samey for me, like in
Yeah.
terms of the level. Even though you guys should be better than what you were last season, we
Yeah.
we are worse than last season, despite me complaining about last season. So I don't see us getting a result for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, man, because obviously, for our perspective, we saw Liverpool drop points again
Mm,
against Villa, of course.
yeah,
I think they are 8 clear, though, but then you got to look at it as well. They've got that massive game against City, don't they, at Etihad?
yeah,
So that could be a massive one there as well. So we played before on the Saturday, so we'll be see we put a bit of pressure on, hopefully. But honestly, bro, we've not been playing well whatsoever, man. Obviously with the attack as well. So I think it's going to be less goals, but I think we will nick it. As I said, I did a preview. I said like 2-1 to Arsenal, but we'll come to predictions later on. I quickly want to ask, what's the West Ham team going to look like then against like predicting lineup wise for you against Arsenal, bro?
yeah. This is very difficult because Poster could go with anything. He could go over 3, go over 5, go over 4, and it depends in possession or out of possession and all of that. He went with a 4 against Brentford. I actually do think we should stick with that, but I think we should just play one of our wingers as a wing back, really, because I don't think it. What I think he's going to do, I think he'll play. I think he'll go back to a 5. Unfortunately, I think Areola starts in goal. He's been better as of recently. I think he'll go Kilman, Tadibo, Mavropanos. I think he'll just stick the same 3 centre backs. And just play a traditional 5 with Wan-Bissaka and Emerson, maybe wing backs, and then I think in the pivot, because he put on Ward Prowse for Souček at half time against Brentford, he
Yeah.
might start Ward Prowse, but because he's like a match sharpness, Souček and Alvarez probably in the middle, and then maybe Guilherme and Bowen behind Ferguson. If the rumours are correct that Guilherme will start, if not, then it'll be Kudus there. But that's what I'm predicting.
Okay. Just on Kudus, right? What's
Mm,
going on with this guy, Mike's, bro?
mm,
What's happening with
yeah.
this guy? I don't like. Is his mind actually with you guys, or do you? Because I see him going in the summer personally, man. If an offer comes, I
Mm.
don't know about you.
Yeah, I always saw him going in the summer regardless, even when before the season started, I was like, this is going to be his last season. But my whole thing, the way I saw it was because he's got an 85 million release clause,
Yeah,
he's going to play well, and then obviously he's not worth 85 million, but the PR will justify it if he plays well. Like
yeah,
that's the way I saw it. Like that's players are stocks now in the transfer market. That's how it works now. But I thought he was going to justify that price tag by playing well. But however, I gave him a bly against with Lopetegui because he was playing on the left a lot and it was completely out of his comfort zone. But now that he's playing in his actual position under Potter, I can't give you any more excuses. Like you got a good coach
mm,
there. I just think he's taking too many touches when he needs to release the ball, which is something he's always had a problem with. But when he's at his best when he doesn't need to think. When he doesn't need to think, it's just off instinct he'll shoot, or of instinct he'll create something out of nothing.
yeah,
Whether as under Potter, he's coming a lot into deeper areas where he's not good enough. He just gives away the ball way too much, in my opinion. Just giving the ball to the opposition and very careless in possession as well. It's not just been him, but he's been the main one because he's one of the bigger name players. And to be honest with you, him and Paquetá are both that have got to step up. And unluckily, Paquetá's injured. But if he was to play, he would have needed to make the step up in this game. Like it's the big name players that I'm looking at because only Jared Bowen has stepped up, and I feel like for me with Kudus, he hasn't developed as a player. He's 25 now, and he's kind of playing like he's still 19, 20. We're still calling him raw at 25, which is a big problem. You kind of got to develop at this point, and I feel like if he carries on like this, he isn't gonna go. He isn't gonna go anywhere to the top. Like you'd like to think that with his natural ability, he could go to a bigger club. But however, the way he's playing right now, no one's going to pay the money for him, and they're going to try and negotiate a price like further away from the asking price.
yeah, 100%, man. So let's get into it, man. The score with it, Mike's. What are you telling me, man? What's it
I've
gonna
said on
be?
I've said on every stream that I think it'll be 2-0 Arsenal
Okay.
because I just don't think we'll score. I don't think you guys are like have got the maddest attack or anything, but I think you guys will be patient and wait on your opportunities to score, and you'll still have something up your sleeve regardless because that's what title challenging teams do. They always find a way. So I don't see us scoring in this match. So I think it'll be a 2-0.
2-0 Arsenal. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. So, yeah, man, that is that, guys. Make sure you leave your comments down below, your scores, predictions down below as well. Just before we go, Mike, if you want to shout out, where they can find you and the content you've got coming up as well, man.
Yeah, you can find me at GVR Mikes on YouTube. I'm trying to reach 1K subscribers, so if you want to come and subscribe, feel free to subscribe. Trying to hit 800 in this month. I've got a stream with Northside at 7 to preview the Arsenal game. I've got a stream at 10 with Alfie as well to preview it even more as well. I just did a stream with Hooks as well. We'll have the watch along tomorrow at 2:45.
There we go, man. Listen, bro, may the best thing win, obviously, for obviously tomorrow. And
Yeah, of course.
honestly, all the best to West Ham going forward as well, man. With Graham Potter, I'm sure he'll get you back up there, man, 100%. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, once again, guys, you can find, as Max just said there, where you can find him. Also, it's very easy to do. Subscribe. He's on the road to 1K, people. In the title, get it done. We'll catch you guys later. As always, come on, you Gunners, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.